Hello, everybody. I'm Steve Reinharz, CEO and CTO of Artificial Intelligence Technology Solutions, and it's only been 1 week since we've been off the air, so to speak, in terms of our weekly videos, and I gotta say, I miss it, and I'm not sure that I really love this bi-weekly plan that we hatched a few weeks ago. The AI Minute still needs time to kind of get to a point where I like it. I miss my Saturday routine of getting a cup of coffee and watching this video, which between the time that I record it and the time that I watch it, I've largely forgotten most of what I've said. Plus, in the meantime, I've learned that not only do our prospective or engaged investors watch the video, not only do our team members watch the video, but also prospects, customers, and I learned today our vendors watch these videos as well. Now, from my perspective, that is fantastic. This is a great company on a heck of a journey. And being able to share kind of a bit of a play-by-play in this weekly video format has been fun, exhausting sometimes, but fun. And I think we might reinstate it weekly. We'll see. We're going to go bi-weekly for another session or two. But anyway, that's where I'm at. So thank you so much for being here, and let's see what we've got on schedule today. Orders. Hey, listen, we want orders. We need orders. Orders is how we've been almost tripling revenues every year for the last 3 years. And I got to give you an update on what we're doing. It is a little slower than we hoped. And I'm sharing it with you, good and the bad. You know, the good and the bad. And it's largely because when the current U.S. administration increased all the tariffs and the stock market went haywire, so to speak, a lot of expected economic activity stopped, stalled, was put on hold. And we got caught in that. And when I talk to a lot of other companies like ours or sell B2B, they're telling me the same thing. There was kind of a pause in a lot of activity that was expected. And we were certainly caught in that net. Sure, orders keep coming in, but not to the extent that I want. So that's a reality now. We've already seen at least one major customer unblock our order and give it to us this past week due to the fact that the Chinese tariffs have somewhat, reduced or stabilized or whatever it is you want to call it. So that's very, very good for all of us. So now with what seems to be these kind of new tariffs or some kind of confidence that new tariffs will be put in place that will be beneficial to the United States, and I think thereby the world, that we will have an unlocking of a lot of those big orders that we have. And we're primarily talking about orders from, say, the Fortune 2000 that kind of put a pause on things. So that's the reality. I will tell you, though, that the number of big orders that we expect from big customers, it literally just keeps on growing. It is the most incredible thing. My fear is not that we're not going to get the orders. I have no fear of that at all. My fear is being able to deliver as quickly as we're going to need to once this flood of orders come in. So I will keep you up to date on that. It is a very challenging juggling act between, hey, what do we buy for? What money do we use? What do we build? What do we expect? What's high probability? And really just doing that sales and production forecasting. And I will tell you that with the situation related to the tariffs over the past couple of months, it has been incredibly challenging. I'm so glad and confident that we're at the end of that stretch and that we're going to get way back on track. Now, one of the press releases that we put out this week that may have been overlooked by the public, because maybe they didn't understand really what that meant, was a press release we put out about becoming SOC 2 Type 2 certified. And I'm bringing extra attention to it because it is a big deal. And some people ask me, they're like, well, hey, will it unlock orders, for the company? Absolutely, it will. Absolutely, yes. Absolutely, it makes the cyber checks and IT checks and verifications that we have to go through with pretty much every client that's Fortune 2000 much, much, much easier because a third party has gone through so much in a very dedicated, focused way to give us a certification. So it certainly lets us get through different types of sales obstacles much faster, gets us the sale faster. Yes, 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 yes. But there's more. That is not really, in my opinion, the core reason why we did it. We did it because I want AITX to be operating at the highest standards. We have to be as good to perfect as we possibly can with all things IT and security. We're a security company that uses IT. So I need it, we need it for our peace of mind, for all the things related to business continuity and everything related to us having a long-term viable business. So that's really why we did it. And secondarily, of course, sales, which we want, need, and love. So a funny thing happened on my way to Radcam. Yes, I just did a hat change. I did a hat change. We're having some fun. We're entertaining here today. But we're going to talk about Radcam a little bit because a funny thing happened, if you ask me, and that was a pivot on Radcam. A pivot on Radcam. What does that mean? Well, residential sales for Radcam weren't hitting expectations. And we started spending some money to get the word out there. And we weren't spending very much money. We were spending $15,000 a month, which is the most marketing money we have ever spent ever in our history as a company. And it really is a drop in the bucket, to say the least, in terms of trying to get retail attention and consumer attention. $15,000 is a joke. It's an absolute joke in the B2C market. And of course, we're really focused on B2B. And I'm like, okay, well, hey, I got all these cameras. I'm trying to get operationally positive cash flow, which means I'm cutting advertising, specifically advertising for products that aren't selling, that aren't having the uptick and momentum that we want and we need. Okay, so it gets cut. That's what we do. And it made a nice contribution to the $100,000 that we saved. But in the meantime, I've got these Radcam. And the cool thing about the Radcam is they're all paid, they're ready to go. And, we wrote all the software for it, all the firmware, hardware, all the software for it. It's ours. So we start thinking, and we come up with the two new products that we announced a couple of weeks ago, specifically Radcam Small Medium Business and Radcam Enterprise. Now, all that's good. You can dig up the press release and find some details on it. More details will be forthcoming over the next couple of months. But I'll tell you why I think that the fact that it wasn't selling to our expectations in residential turns into a good thing. Now, time will tell, as with everything in life. Time will tell. But here's the kind of the rub on it. On Radcam Residential, we would charge $5 to $15 a month for the subscription. In SMB and Radcam Enterprise, we'll charge $40 to $60 a month, in addition, of course, to selling the camera. So from our perspective, driving revenue and profit, the cost for us specifically to run it in SMB mode and enterprise mode isn't particularly different than the cost to run it in residential mode. And I've already shared that the residential profit margin of $5 to $15 was quite healthy. So think about the same cost basis, but think about the fact that we're now going to charge several times more. It made me happy. It makes me happy. You have a problem, you look at it a couple different angles, you come up with a great solution, you pivot towards it. We've got team members writing the code to bring it into the enterprise platform and to create the SMP platform. And it's really, really fun. So Radcam, it is what it is. I got one right here. I love the device. And now that we're going to have a business-oriented version, we can sell it through our extensive dealer channels. And they've already indicated that they're really excited to bring this in. Of course, not stopping anything we're doing in residential. Of course not. I'm just not spending money on advertising it anymore. So I see the Radcam story at this moment as kind of a fortuitous accident. I don't know. I know there's some clever words you could put around that kind of thing. I don't know what they are right now. But I'm excited that Radcam is going to go into our B2B product set under Rad Inc. I know we're going to sell a ton, and I know we're going to make more money than whatever we end up selling on the residential side. Now, am I committed to residential? Yes, it's a great product. But at this time, with our finances, we're not going to get the traction that we need in order to make it a successful product. That's the reality, folks. Again, good news and bad news. I'm going to share with you where we're at. Back to SARA. SARA. I think I said on my last weekly video, if you're getting tired of SARA, too bad. SARA is here. It's going to be staying. It's such a big deal for us. Now, you might be saying, why? Blah, 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 right? Why? Well, if you're at your computer, you got your phone in your hand right now, look up Agentic AI, AGENTIC space AI, okay? And you're going to see all kinds of Agentic AI systems all across. Because what's happening today in a hurry, is computers are talking to people more than ever. And the curve on Agentic AI solutions is like straight up hockey stick, kind of like what I want with Rad Sales. Like, hopefully we're going to have a great year this year as well. But Agentic AI is the thing. We're going to have more and more conversations with computers across the board, not just when a system like SARA is calling for help or telling you what's going on a scene, but, placing bets, asking for services, asking for help. Everything is going Agentic AI. Everything. So we, of course, having won this big award and building these relationships with some of the greatest companies in our industry today, I think we've got a really good position. We're leaning into it as hard and fast as we can. Agentic AI alone, I believe, is going to power this company to great heights. So there's always going to be SARA. There's going to be more SARA. There's going to be more Agentic AI. Look it up. Please look it up. One last thing to share with you. But before I get there, I'll just say, I really like sharing. I like sharing. I've done, a couple hundred of these sessions. It's part of like my routine. I miss it a little bit. I'm going to stop whining about it. We're going to see how things go over the next few weeks. Maybe we're back weekly. Last item to share with you is an Ask Me Anything coming up on June the 8th. We had a press release about this on May the 14th. Has a link if you want to send in some questions. Go ahead. The AMA is going to be between 60 and 90 minutes. I generally can't get to every question. There are generally a lot of questions that are silly or uninformed that I can't answer, such as, when will the stock price be $1? Stuff like that. So that stuff, of course, I can't answer if it's speculative or stock related, but I can talk a little bit about plans related to dilution, and I will. So anyway, that's on June 8th. You're going to want to mark that on your calendar. Folks, that's it. I hope you had fun with the weekly. I did. Drop a comment, like, subscribe, share. Thank you guys so much. See you later.